Hey there, it's Aaron. It is April 23rd, 2015, and as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about Badfinger today. Now, why? Well, tomorrow, Friday, April 24th, will mark 40 years since Pete Ham took his own life. So I thought I'd do a video. Uh, Big Badfinger fan. That's a bit of a tongue twister there. Uh, really like Badfinger. For I'm sure many hardcore music fans know that they were signed to Apple Records, the record label that the Beatles created towards the end of their career. A lot of people compare them to the Beatles because they just sound so much like them, and they kind of look like them too. So people were thinking, well, the Beatles are not here anymore. Let's look at these are our new guys, and well, that's a tall order there. But they really got screwed with bad management, financial hell, and in the end it led to the suicide of not one, but two members in the band at separate times, 8 years apart. So one of the saddest stories, if not the saddest story I've ever heard in rock and roll of any rock band. So I thought, in honor of the late great Pete Ham, I would talk about all of the Badfinger albums because I have them all right here. Talk about how I got into Badfinger because for a person like me who's 23, it's a bit rare to find somebody at 23 who likes Badfinger. I mean, did my parents like them? No. They probably knew of them. I don't know if I ever shared on my channel, but I got into classic rock music when I got into the Beatles. I had heard that the Beatles, I thought, wow, they made a lot of songs that I've heard of before. And then come the fall of 2000 with the Beatles anthology book and the Beatles One compilation, I was hooked. And it would be Beatles, 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 Beatles. So my family sort of relatives all encourage, hey, guess what? The Beatles are great, but there are other bands that were around that time. So I got into the Stones, who were right up there. Wait, there they are, and up there too. The who are right up there in the corner, and Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Kiss. The list goes on and on and on. Now, as to how I heard of Badfinger, I don't know, I just kept hearing the name and that they were associated with the Beatles somehow. And when I got into the Beatles at the video store, yeah, when there were still rental video stores, they had all the Beatles anthology tapes, or the miniseries, each episode. There were 8 episodes. And there was this song that I really liked called Maybe Tomorrow, and it was by this band called the Iveys. So I wanted to look them up. And then I had my mom with me looking on the computer to see, how can I find any results about the Iveys? And it turned out, no, they changed their name to Badfinger. So the two were connected, so it was the same guys. So I had heard of Badfinger and then learned a little bit about them. And then it was around 4th grade. Okay, keep in mind, I'm 10 years old. So one of those days where I'm don't know what the heck I'm going to get at the CD store, and then I found this, the very best of Badfinger. So I got it, and I became hooked. So yeah, this was a great introduction. This was released 2000, but this was the only Badfinger I owned up until 2005 when Mike Gibbons passed away, the drummer. So I sort of thought to myself, this is all I own. I should get their other albums. So that's what I did. And then from December 2005 up until I graduated middle school, I was able to get all their albums. And at the same time, at my local library chain, or libraries, they had the Badfinger book Without You, The Tragic Story of Badfinger, which is written by a guy named Dan Madovina, who's associated with the Pete Ham and Tom Evans estates. So yeah, really great book. Very hard to find a copy. I mean, I got lucky with my library having a copy of it. if you can find one that's less than $100, go for it. It's a great book. So that's how I got into Badfinger, really. And yeah, I'll go into the albums here. Okay, so the first Badfinger album was not under the Badfinger name, it was under the aforementioned Iveys name, and that album was called Maybe Tomorrow. This is the 1992 CD reissue. It says it was made in Hong Kong, but I think it came from the UK. This was one of the last ones I got. It's a good album for what it is. I mean, keep in mind, it was their first album on a very new record label. And I mean, some of the songs here are sort of filler, while some of them are really good. I like Seesaw Grandpa. Beautiful Blue's okay. Dear Angie's good. The title track is great. I really like They're Knocking Down Our Home, which is Pete Ham's song, and I read in that Badfinger book, I think it was in there, I read it, that Paul McCartney was a pretty big fan of They're Knocking Down Our Home, which is a huge compliment, that, hey, a Beatle likes your songs. Other good ones, Sailor Boo's good, Fisherman, I mean, some of these songs are just okay, but then some of them are really good. I mean, it's an average album, but it's not bad at all. But all right, then next up is Magic Christian Music. Am I right about that? Yeah, Magic Christian Music. Weird title, but the reason why it's called that is because it was the soundtrack to a movie called The Magic Christian, starring Pete Sellers and Ringo Starr. I have seen the movie, but it was the first time when it was released, like 2003 it was released on DVD, and that was the first time I saw it. It's a pretty funny movie. This is the older version of the album, released in '91. And then this is the 2010 reissue from the Apple Remasters. In terms of an album, it's weird to listen to this one back to back with this one because some of the songs from here are on here. So that's a little bit weird, although some of them are remixed. But I mean, they picked some of the good ones. Like Maybe Tomorrow goes on here. Dear Angie comes on here. And Knocking Down Our Home is on here. But it's really the new songs that are really good. Their first hit, Come and Get It, written by Paul McCartney, is on here. Midnight Sun's cool. Rock of All Ages is a good boogie woogie number. My favorite song on here might be Carry On Till Tomorrow. Just a haunting track. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, next up, No Dice. This one was released only a couple months after Magic Christian Music. This is their first album with Joey Molland on it. Great album. Really great album. And, this is the 1992 issue of it. Again, this one's better. Even though this one's not bad. I mean, any of the older ones are not bad, but these are improvements, definitely. Yeah, it's a great album. There you go. There's the whole band. Yeah. Okay, in terms of favorite tracks on here, I Can't Take It's good. There's a song called Love Me Do, but it's not a cover of the Beatles tune. It's a Joey Molland song, which I find a little bit funny. Midnight Caller is great. No Matter What, one of the band's biggest hits. Without You, song written by Pete and Tom, which would later become a big hit for Harry Nilsson and Mariah Carey. Their version is my favorite, though. Bloodwind is just weird because it's a song about a wooden spoon, I think. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't know if it was meant to be that way. Better Days is good. Believe Me and We're for the Dark. Alright, then comes Straight Up. This is my favorite album by the band. And for those curious, this is the 1992 remaster, and again, improvement. And this is the inside for it. Okay. And those who are curious, I got this too for some reason. No, I got it. Yeah, this is not an original pressing. I found out that this is actually a German import. Because it says right here, imported. Blue sticker right there. But it still sounds great. So yeah, it's nice to have this one on vinyl. It's the only Badfinger album I own on vinyl. So, straight up, this one was originally produced by George Harrison, and he produced 3 of them. He played the slide guitar on here on Day After Day, but then he couldn't continue to produce it because he had commitment to do the concert for Bangladesh, and he invited all the guys in Badfinger, who could barely be heard, because they were strumming the life out of their acoustic guitars. Although Pete did go up with George to perform Here Comes the Sun, which, yeah, this is a good album. Take It All's great. Baby Blue, which I'm sure younger people out there would probably be familiar with, being the song that ended Breaking Bad. Money and Flying are like a 2-parter, which is pretty good. I Die Babe, good song from Joey. Name of the Game. I like the earlier version better. Suitcase is good, bluesy track with Joey Mullen there. Sweet Tuesday Morning, another Joey song. Day After Day, one of their big hits, along with Baby Blue. And as I said before, George Harrison on the slide guitar. Sometimes it's a bit filler. Perfection, I keep thinking, I always thought that Perfection sounds like an acoustic version of No Matter What, just with a different set of lyrics. But I still like Perfection. I think it's a good song. And it's over. Okay, next up is their last album for Apple. An album called Ass. Very clever album artwork here. I think it was suggested by Tom Evans. Of the band members, was suggested by Tom Evans. This album art is supposedly to show their relationship with Apple Records, and it's I mean, if you can look at it, it's a donkey with headphones on, and he's being tempted with a big carrot in the sky. Ass is a strange album. It's a good. It took me a while to get into it, but I really like it now because the 2010 remaster is amazing. I think already before then, the album suffered from really shoddy production, and I don't know what the issue was. And by that time, when they released it in '73, they had already left Apple, as suggested by their manager, Stan Polly. And I know that a bunch of hardcore Badfinger fans were cringing when I mentioned the name Stan Polly. This is a good album. I mean, the problem with this one, I mean, at first for me, is that there's 10 songs, half of them are Joey's. I don't know what happened there. And then you got 2 from Pete, 2 from Tom, and then Mike gets into the mix there. And it's just a really weird album. But there's some really great songs on here. Now for years, I mentioned about the shoddy production, that people really didn't like it when it came out on CD in '96. There were even attempts at making the album sound better. One, a bootleg called Complete Ass, which has the, from what I've read, it doesn't sound too, I don't have the '96 reissue or whatever it was. But this was somebody's attempt at making it sound better. The first 10 tracks at least, and then the rest, and the second disc has sessions from that, for that album on here. But the 2010 remaster sounds superb. I mean, I have a whole new appreciation for the sound just because of the remaster. There's Apple of My Eye, Pete's song about their relationship with Apple Records, hence Apple of my eye. Icicles is a good one from Joey. For the liner notes in here, he said he was very influenced by Joni Mitchell, and I can sort of see that. The winner's fun. Blind Owl, When I Say, are good songs from Tom, and the album ends with one of my favorite song off this album, Timeless. Great track.